In his book, Overcoming Life's Disappointments, Rabbi Harold Kushner writes, there are three different types of people. Those who dream boldly, even as they realize their dreams won't come true. Those who dream more modestly and fear even their modest dreams may not be realized. And those who are afraid to dream at all so as not to be disappointed. He goes on to say, I would wish for more people who dreamed boldly and trusted their powers of resilience to see them through the inevitable disappointments. Perhaps we need a dream, a vision, if we are to arrive at the place to which God is calling us. Way back in the 12th chapter of Genesis, verse 1, God makes a promise to Abraham and Sarah, giving them a vision to carry them on their way, telling them, leave your country, your people, the home of your parents, and go to a land I will show you. A few biblical books later, books covering many years of Israel's wanderings, settlings, victories, rough times, enslavement, escape, freedom, and their more wilderness wanderings, we find Moses on top of a mountain with God. Many generations have come and gone, filled with colorful stories of many people, complex relationships and political dynamics, amazing successes and significant failures. Now Moses stands on top of a mountain with God, looking over the land God has given the people. And as Moses looks out over all of that land, the promised land, God reminds him, this is the land that God has promised to you so long ago and to your people. Feast your eyes upon it, God tells Moses, but you will not cross over there. Then Moses, a servant of God, whom God knew face to face, dies in this place, a vigorous 120-year-old, still with strong vision, now dead, just as God had announced. And to this day, Moses is remembered for all of the signs and wonders performed in Egypt against Pharaoh and against the whole land. Moses, who commanded mighty, terrifying displays of power before all of Israel, especially at crucial times as they wandered toward the promised land. There, in this place, the people weep and mourn, grieving for Moses. And then, after a time, the people move on to the place where God is calling them. And I suspect that without the vision, a vision that God had set before God's people all those generations ago, first to Abraham and Sarah, then passed on down through many, many generations, the people would never have made it to the promised land. It was vision that kept them focused, and when they lost their way, helped them regain focus, continuing to move forward to the place where God was calling them, to that promised land. Without vision, the people perish. With vision, community thrives. It's not possible for me to think of this story without thinking of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s speech the night before he was assassinated. Exhausted, not planning to go to the church that April night in Memphis, he was summoned to come, to say something to the people, something to inspire them and give them courage as they move forward with the strike of the sanitation workers, getting ready to march again down Freedom Road. That April night in Memphis, King's words rang out with hope, encouragement, with vision, as his words had rung out so many times before in the midst of struggle. Again, King's words fired up a people to continue a movement, marching on toward freedom against all odds. At the end of the speech, he noted the threats against him. Then came the words reminiscent of Moses on the mountaintop with God. Well, I don't know what will happen now. We've got some difficult days ahead, but it really doesn't matter with me now because I've been to the mountaintop and I don't mind. Like anybody, I would like to live a long life, Longevity has its place, but I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will. And He's allowed me to go up the mountain, and I've looked over, and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land. And the applause was thunderous. Of course, we all know that just hours later, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was dead. A leader was gone, but the vision of hope King and others proclaimed kept the people focused on freedom. When they were losing ground, when fatigue and faint-heartedness and fear stopped them in their tracks, when they were tempted to just go along, stepping back from the risk, enduring what always had been, vision kept their eyes set on the promised land of freedom. As they marched on, even in days of deepest despair, to this place where God was calling them, King's words still rang out. The vision, the dream, giving courage, sustaining the forward movement of the human rights revolution, calling to us even this day. Without vision, the people perish. With vision, community thrives. So what do these visions have to do with Fort Street? I invite you to come sometime over the next few Sundays to an informal small group gathering so that we can get to know one another better. I look forward to learning more about Fort Street's story, the history, ministry, fun and funny stories of Fort Street people, as well as the not so funny and sometimes even the tragic. I want to know how and why you came to Fort Street. What keeps you here? What are your hopes and your dreams for this amazing place in the heart of the city? I hope to hear what your vision for this congregation has been. I want to know what your vision is right now, and I long to form a vision with you that will carry this congregation far into the 21st century as a vibrant, exciting, relevant community of faith that will stay strong at 3rd and 4th. What is your vision for this congregation? Vision is formed out of understanding the past, genuinely embracing the present as it really is, and being open to follow God's Spirit into a future yet to be determined. And this undetermined future is not just about shifting demographics, societal changes, and bad economy, though all of these are certainly important factors in shaping the future of this church. The future, though, the vision, is really determined by the people. How we face challenges, how we deal with changes that are inevitable, how well we seize opportunities remaining together as a community of the living Christ.